All right, everyone. I'm going to be doing a live right now. But first, as always, let's get a little bit of coffee, man. Listen, I need a drink of coffee. I'm tired, man. It's actually at the perfect temperature right now, the coffee, so I don't know. If I start drawing, then pretty soon that coffee is going to get cold and it's going to be disgusting. I don't like it when I have cold coffee. I don't know about you, but I don't really. I don't like scalding hot coffee, but I don't like cold coffee. I'll drink like warm to hot coffee. And this coffee right now, it is hot. It's hot. It's like the perfect temperature. I think I started this live just in time. Okay, so we're going to be drawing Queen Elizabeth today. We're going to be trying to draw Queen Elizabeth today. And we're just going to see how it goes. Typically with these drawings, it takes me a long time to do because I always struggle, even knowing like how to structure the head. I always struggle with like things. Let me see something here. Yeah, I always struggle with the face, essentially, and the struggle is real. So it usually takes me a little bit of time to get acclimated to this. And what I'm doing now is I'm kind of building a scaffolding at the moment. And it's just one of those things that I need to start doing more often. And it's going to take me a minute. I'm trying to do a quick version of like what's it called? Coffee. No, I'm trying to do a quick version of the Riley head or a Loomis head. And I'm kind of breaking down the face into thirds. So this is like the forehead. This is supposed to be the eye. What is it? I'm forgetting here. Anyways, this is supposed to be the brow line. This is supposed to be where the nose. Yeah, the nose. I had to write this stuff down. The nose kind of ends in this relative area, and then this is supposed to be like the chin in thirds. And then somewhere, I don't know. I don't remember. I have to look at my cheat sheet. I actually have a little cheat sheet underneath the sketchbook because I did a study yesterday, where so like somewhere like the halfway point. I'm just going to say the halfway point to make it simple right now. It's probably like a third or something is where the eyes are, or like the eyes kind of start or begin, and then yeah. So I think that's good. Let's go ahead and drink some more coffee. Let's get some other things here. I'm doing a modified version. I'm not doing all this fancy stuff. We're just going to kind of add things here really quickly. So like the eyes are going to be like, they're going to be like 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and then the nose is going to be in there, and then you have the nose, and then like the under nose, and then you have the bridge of the nose, and then you draw your little eye sockets, and then you can draw like this shape here. I'm trying to look at what I drew here, and then there's the this, and then this kind of goes around here, and then I don't remember. somewhere around here is where the mouth, no, like right here or so, where the mouth kind of starts, maybe. And do a little like oval shape for the mouth. And then we're going to go ahead and just kind of add a scaffolding. And then from there, I'll use this light little scaffolding to begin the process of drawing my character. Or what I should have done is I should have done this head in blue and then overlay it on top, like start doing the details of Queen Elizabeth in the black pen. But I was silly and decided not to do that. What a dumb diddy dumb. I can't believe I did that. You're so dumb. You make mistakes all the time. Dumb. All right. Well, so let's try this out here. Let's do a little let's start out with the nose. Let's start out with some of the nose area. We're gonna draw a rounded area because Queen Elizabeth has kind of like a round nose. So, and then we're gonna add that bridge here. And I'm trying to be really light. I'm not trying to, like, I say this now, but I'm not trying to add too much at the begin with. And, you know, this is why I don't like doing these characters, these individuals, because I just kind of bomb them, you know, I just kind of mess them up all the time. And you don't want to be messing them up on a live stream, you know, you just don't want to do that. That's just like, why would you want to do that, right? Yeah, so we're just going to keep making marks, but they're going to be very light marks until I can kind of get the feel of what or how this portrait is going to kind of come through. So I'm just going to add marks that are going to slowly compound into something. And it's going to take me a minute. And it kind of sucks, you know? That kind of sucks. I got to do a few reminders here. It kind of sucks because you have your trying to get something on paper quickly for the people that are watching to like, wow, this really built up quick. But, you know, when I'm doing these type of drawings, I actually have to take my time, man. I do. Because I'm prone to kind of just like making mistakes. And also, I like to make lots of mistakes. I am the mistake master. And that's what I do. That's how I do things. I make lots and lots of mistakes. So that's what I typically do, is I make a lot of mistakes. And then I try to correct those mistakes, you know. That's typically what happens. Is my drawing style is I'm always wrong at the very beginning. And then I slowly correct over and over again until it looks kind of like the thing that I'm drawing, you know. And this just kind of sucks. But, you know, it's just one of those things. It's just one of the, like, this is how I operate. Very rarely do I draw something that just, like, clicks, you know. It just clicks. It just looks like It just makes sense, you know. And so, but that's what you have to do, you know. You have to kind of like you just kind of have to go with the flow. And I'm gonna have trouble with this. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna get. I honestly, if I can capture a likeness, I'll be happy. But I don't think I'm going to. It's gonna be when I do portraits of any manner of individuals, I have to draw that portrait a couple times over, for me to like actually understand like the structure of that person, you know. And it takes me some time. And when you have only an hour, and you have to do a drawing in an hour, which for me is very fast. You know, I actually, for like portraits, I need a substantial amount of time. And as I said, I just it's just a challenge, man. And it just takes me some time. And I hate saying that over and over again, but like a broken record. But right now, not good. Just judging by the eye that I drew, I can't seem to capture it. Maybe it's it's probably, the shape is probably pretty close to what is there, minus a few details. But it's probably a value issue. Maybe there's maybe the iris is a little too far to the center. So now what we got to do is we got to go ahead and start drawing her other eye. And this is where it's kind of tricky, because we're always, when we're drawing individuals, people, we expect, like, so I think this is about right. The eye, yeah, there's a gap, an eye's space between each one. There's always this like expectation where we have to draw the eyes the same, but in this instance, and in a lot of instances when you're drawing people, the eyes are not the same, like the shape. Some people have more symmetrical faces, some people don't, and this one, it's not as symmetrical as, you know, like a supermodel, right? And there's a lot of the differences in the left and right eye, especially how they're like, maybe the bottoms are about the same, but like maybe the top, like face, the top of them are kind of similar, but the bottoms of the eyes are different. No. The tops are different. The bottoms are pretty similar, like as far as the shape, but not like necessarily the eye. Like, you know, when you get like tired, you have like eye, like swole, like your eyes are all puffy, you know. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's get this. We're gonna move. Okay, so I know what I'm doing wrong a little bit. We gotta move this shape closer. And then this eye starts right around here, like that. And we're just going to go ahead and do something like this. And I think that's okay. The eye on this side looks a little bit to the left a little bit more. I probably made it a little bit too big, but now I can't fix that. And we're going to go ahead and adjust the eye here. This eye is looking more in the center of the iris and the sclera type thing. And then there's like folds and such. Yeah, this is why I don't like to do these drawings, because I'm drawing a woman, but it's an older woman, and it's just not, I'm not capturing it. Because right now it looks like a manly face, you know. It looks like a manly face, and it's not. She's got a very soft older woman features, you know, and I'm like drawing her as if she's a man, and that's just not the case, which kind of sucks. So I'm just gonna, and that's one of the things I need I need more time for these type of things. Surprisingly, though, I am not as exhausted as I was yesterday, even though I probably got less sleep. Isn't that surprising? Like when you get like, don't you hate it when you get less sleep and you're more awake than when you get more sleep? You know, I hate that. I hate it when I get less sleep and then I'm more awake, and then I get a lot of sleep and I'm less awake, like I'm more tired, like I still need to go back to bed or maybe take a nap. Now I say that now, like tomorrow, like I say that now, but like probably when like noon comes, noon comes, and then all of a sudden I have to go, like I gotta take a little siesta, I gotta take a little nappy poo, because I'm beat. And sometimes, man, all I need is all I need is like a good 15-minute nap at times to really to kind of get just like 15-minute nap, and that'll be all that I need for the day, or to kind of get back to zero, to get back on track, to get awake again, and that's kind of, I find that entertaining or interesting. That, so I don't know where her cheek is at here. This is what happens. We're gonna give it a good old college try. As I said, I need to draw a said person multiple times, to get multiple studies of that person before I really understand and really know what things I need to be doing with this person to capture that likeness. And when I'm doing it in a live setting, it's just like I'm just asking to mess up. And it's just how it is. It's not for lack of trying. It's not for lack of not being skilled. I just know me, like it took me like 100 self-portraits to capture my likeness of me, and I see me every day, so if someone's asked me to draw someone or something of a person, hey, thank you, man. How do you get better at shading for drawing? Oh, geez. You're asking the wrong person. And also that's kind of a loaded question. I would say if you can practice drawing a sphere, if you can do a sphere really well, like a circle, with shading really well, you'll be good. This is not good, by the way. I don't think I captured the nose. I think the distance between the nose is not long enough. Like I need to make her nose longer to give more room for the bottom of the jaw. So there's a lot of things wrong. I'm pretty sure when I'm drawing when I draw her and I look at it tomorrow, I'll be like, oh, this is what I did wrong. It's usually like later on you have like some sort of epiphany. You have to learn in shading. You have to learn that there's a highlight, shadow. You have to learn where to discern between the highlight, shadow. I'm missing something. Reflective light, core shadow, and reflective light, and then the cast shadow. So it would break down into like five layers. So like the highlight, shadow, reflective light, core shadow, and shadow. So 5 areas, and they get darker as they go as from each number. So like I don't know. I would have to sit down and like do a tutorial on it, but and also it's also dependent on like how much time you have available, because if you want to become good at shading, there's really no way to like speed up the process of doing good shading. Now you can do good hatching. This is like hatching, but shading's a different deal. Yeah, Arthur Morgan. I this one's gonna turn out well. This one's not. That's what happens, man. There's just too much going on. But maybe, just maybe, there might be some silver lining from this. Let's see here. So the space here, maybe not that long. And then her lips end right around, so her lips feel like they end at her, somewhere around here. So I'm making these little guidelines here as a measurement device. So like they end right around her pupil or close to her pupil. So like I'm using that as a gauge. Now bear in mind, these measurements are only as good as the measurements that you've done before. So if your eyes are off and you're measuring the edges of the mouth in relationship to the eyes, then if your eyes are off and you use that measurement to determine the width of the mouth, then your mouth will be off as well. So you have to bear that in mind. So I think I need to raise the lips up a little bit like that. And here's the thing. This Queen Elizabeth is an older lady, and there's a lot of asymmetry happening, and that's fine. It just makes things a little bit harder to work with. Like so, like the lip on one side is a little off, or maybe it's just like the makeup that they did. I don't know. So we just got to kind of go with it. And maybe do something like this. I'm trying to extend her mouth the length of where I think her mouth begins and ends. And then we're going to go ahead and do like some sort of shape for the bottom of the mouth. Again, I'm not really, this would take me, I'd have to fiddle around with this. With these features a lot more than I am now to really like dial them in. I would have to like think about it, make some actions, or I'd have to make multiple actions over and over again until I got it right. Because I don't know, I have like facial blindness. I feel like I have a little bit of facial blindness where I see the face, right? I see her face, but I'm not seeing her face. Like I don't see all the features. So I think I need to make her, I don't see all the features of her face. You know, I see that there's things happening. And wow, dude. Who'd have thunk this would have been challenging? So I made her lips too big already. But now, like, what do you do? Like, they're kind of locked in. You know, I might be able to wiggle them around a little bit and change things up with when I add value, like add shading and such. But you know, when it's already kind of locked in, right? It becomes ever more challenging. So that's why I'm doing this. I woke up this morning and I looked at my art request page, booklet that I have. I have a huge list. I have so many art requests. I probably have like 1,000 or so. And I looked at one of the earliest ones that I didn't want to tackle, which was this person. And I was like, man, I really don't want to do this. Because I knew that this would happen. I knew that it wouldn't end up looking like her or looking like her well, because I would need to do various studies. If you ever look at if you look at like some of the old Renaissance masters, you would see them draw some cheese. You would see them in their old sketchbook drawings. You would see like you would see the studies of them doing the same figure or same person over and over again, right? It's the same thing. I guess this looks kind of like cheese. Over and over again. And there we go. There's a very poor drawing of cheese. And it's you can't expect the person like me specifically to get it right the first time. Especially, if you've never done it. It's kind of like a musician who has to do they have to, like a studio musician where they have to play certain songs and they have to know those songs, but they don't know those songs by heart. So what they have to do is they have to practice the songs multiple times before they are familiar with them. It's the same thing with drawing a portrait of someone. It's the same thing. I think a lot of times you see all these artists, you think that it just flows out of them, like the drawing just flows out. And I think a lot of times, maybe I'm wrong, the artist kind of like edits the video or edits the way the drawing is presented to the masses, so that you think, oh, this person just like drew this, drew this with no problems, nothing. There was they had no hiccups, no point of friction in the drawing. It just went so smooth, it just went smooth. And for the most part, that's not always the case, So I'm just going to keep drawing on this person, Queen Elizabeth, until I like the hour's done. And whatever I don't get done, I don't get done. I'll just take it as a moment of study, like a practice run, so that whenever someone requests Queen Elizabeth again or someone requests another portrait, I'll be a little bit more prepared or a little bit better off. So I'm trying to take all these requests that I just kind of like cringe. And I'm not cringing because of the requests. I cringe because I find it to be a little bit challenging, and I don't want to do a challenging thing. Because I don't want to bomb during a live. But you have to take these practice runs, and you have to do them. Talented artists on FYP is always a win. Sometimes, man. Is this there's I don't know, man. I think you can outwork talent. I don't know. I don't really call myself talented, man, because my drawings when I was young are sucky, and this drawing right now is kind of sucky. So I don't consider myself talented. I consider myself like a person that just is willing to mess up a lot, and that's really what's happening is I'm messing up a lot. So what I'm noticing here. The chin that's not the chin. That should not, I made the chin a little too level. It feels like it's level on one side and it kind of tilts up a little bit. And I probably should have exaggerated her chin a little bit. So we might be able to do that a little with changing the value. I don't know, or maybe just using the line and kind of exaggerating it just to kind of show that is that. And then, as you get older, right, you're the neck muscles, unfortunately, we're all going to get this. I'm going to get this. You're going to get this. The neck muscles start to sag and sway, when you get older. And that just sucks. But so she has that happening. And what are you gonna do, man? That's just what happens as you age, you know. Another thing with this type of this drawing Queen Elizabeth is, I don't know what wrinkles to draw and what wrinkles to kind of smooth out. I can take requests anytime you want. I'll write it down in my book for you. I'll keep an eye out on the chat. How about that? But yeah, I am taking requests. So I'm trying to think about like what wrinkles to show and what wrinkles to kind of omit. And so that's one of the struggles I'm having. Another struggle that I'm having is I don't know where her hairline kind of begins and ends, because it's kind of weird. So not weird like, oh, this is weird. No, but like, it's weird because she's got like bright white gray hair, right? But it's also, it makes it hard because right around on this left side of her face, you got a strong highlight on her forehead, and it's hard to determine where the hairline begins and ends on the top. So you're going to find that a lot of these little things, if you're doing it, if it's off, it's off. Just like with cartoons. If you have a cartoon that's really simple, and you're off with that cartoon, and you're like, why is this cartoon doesn't look like the cartoon, right? Anyways, if you want to take send out a request, feel free to just put it in the comment section, and I will write it down for to draw in the future. Now, bear in mind that I have a big list. It is massive. Like, I am never going to finish it. If I was a tattoo artist, I would be booked for like the next 2 years. Like, I would be booked. Like, people would be, it's like, oh yeah, he's booked. He's charging $1,000 an hour because he's got a wait list that is that long. So I would be booked for a long time. But I'm not a tattoo artist. Probably should have been one, or probably should be one. I don't know. Maybe I should just become a tattoo artist. And this is another reason why, like, you ever like see those tattoos, or like those failed tattoos of like kids or like celebrities on like an arm or a leg, and you're wondering why, like, how did that artist mess it up? It's like, it's easy, man. It's easy. Like, the capturing a likeness is nuance. It is nuance. It takes I keep saying nuance. It's very nuanced. If you're off by a little, you're off by a lot. And if you're off a little everywhere, it becomes very obvious, you know? And so you just have to get better at capturing those nuances and seeing where you're off. And it takes time, and it takes a level of skill and practice. And so, like, I think I'm starting to get some sort of things that are kind of working, but some of them are not working. Some are working and some are not. And oh, by the way, if you haven't, I know that you asked if you could take a request. Just feel free to put it in the chat. I don't know if you've already out of the chat room or something, but if you the one that asked for a request and you want to make a request, feel free to do it. I will write it in my chat. I'll write it in my book, my request book, of which is I think what I'm doing wrong is her ears are here, but like the hair goes lower, and I wasn't doing that. So everything is nuance. Everything needs to be compounded. And if you're off by a lot. Her left side of her face is very, very bright. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Sometimes my lives are good. Sometimes they're bad. Sometimes they say kernels of truth. Sometimes they don't. Man, I'm only 25. I have 25 minutes left, and this is all I've drawn because this is what happens if I talk a lot, I don't get a lot of drawing in. And also, if I have a very complex drawing like this one, where there's a lot that I have to kind of digest mentally, I don't get a lot done. But I'm running on a tight schedule today, so I don't know if I can hang back longer than the hour that I set aside, because I have some other personal like art projects that I got to do, and I allocated only one hour for this live stream. So if I don't get this done, I don't get it done. It's just going to be like I'll just cop it off to being like a sketch. And if the sketch turns out, it turns out, man. Yeah, man, drawing eyes is difficult. I don't think I'm capturing her eyes as well. She's got a lot of wrinkles, and I was talking about how I don't know how much of the wrinkles I want to show, but I might have to show them. I might have to like exaggerate them so that the viewer can see, so that the viewer can know what I'm trying to like present to them, but also so it kind of makes sense visually. But bear in mind, I don't draw portraits this small. Like my portraits, when I do a portrait, it's usually done on like 18 by 24 inch paper. I find drawing this small very difficult. So like you're in a treat when you see me draw this small. This is something I'm not really used to anymore. I used to be when I was a kid. Yeah, when I was like middle school and high school. This is the common drawing format. But all my work is pretty much usually measured in the foot. You know, all my drawings are done by the foot. So what's happening here? Like the left side here, the right side, her left. This gap between her forehead or her skull needs to be about the width of her eye, and I'm making it a little bit too big. Yeah, that helped a bit. So like just shrinking it down this much and pushing her cheek in and her temple in is starting to make it look more like what I'm seeing. And that's what you have to do. It's not abundantly clear that was the solution. So you got to you almost have to be like a mathematician when you're doing. You have to be like a math magician when you're drawing. You have to almost be present with your drawing. You have to look at your relationships constantly and be like, why is this not correct? And then you have to kind of like do measurements. When you're drawing a person, you're basically doing measurements. Your drawing is a series of measurements, and if your measurements are off, your drawing of that person will be off as well. And so you have to kind of constantly be vigilant, and you have to constantly be addressing what is off on this person's face. What is off? Where is it off? How can I correct it without messing it up? What can I do to keep it correct? We need money. Do you also write? Do I write? rough estimates and never asleep. We need author. We need money. I do not write. When I have time, I occasionally write a little blog post on my website, but I never get them. I never get enough time to do that. Like I have a few blog posts this year, but I didn't get a lot done. Like I have it in my schedule to write. I don't know if you're asking me. You might be asking someone in the crowd, but anyways, so another thing is another thing that you can kind of do to kind of mitigate your errors is shading can be a really good concealer. You know, you can conceal a lot of mistakes through shading, and that's kind of a nice little thing that I kind of do often. Is I use the shading to kind of conceal my construction lines, especially since when I'm doing these drawings are done in pen, and I can't erase, so I have to do a lot of construction lines. Is that the cheese from Rocco's Modern Life? No, I did. Someone asked me to draw cheese, and I drew cheese. I didn't have a reference. I think the person's screen name was like like the cheesiest or something. I don't know if the person's still here, but someone asked me to draw cheese, and I was like, oh, okay. So I drew cheese a little bit while I was talking about drawing portraits. So I drew the person the cheese, and then I think they left, and they like said thank you, and then they went about scrolling their way. They might have been drinking coffee. So I have 18 minutes here, fellas. I'm running on a tight schedule. As I said, I really, really am trying to maintain a schedule. After this, I got to do my own art projects, some personal projects. So if I don't do it like immediately after this in 18 minutes, it gets exceedingly harder to catch up and to work on it. It just gets harder and harder to work on it because I'm like working on a razor thin schedule. And if I'm off, just like with like portraits, like this right here, look, that's too dark. I made her lips too dark on the left side, and now I'm going to have to overcompensate somewhere else. It looks like a mustache almost, like I drew a mustache. I'm not trying to draw my own self-portrait here. So that's not good, and I'm going to have to figure out how I can fix that via adding shading in other areas. What are you going to do? Anyways, that's supposed to be your teeth, but you really can't tell. Because I got to make the teeth lighter than the lips. And it looks like I just made her mouth really, really dark. And that's what happens. Another thing is, it's all about shading sometimes. And if you're off on shading, you're off proportions. Everything matters. And now I can't do anything about it. So you just kind of have to like leave it as is. Now the coffee is, now what you could very well do is like, lips are a little too dark because she has like some really, the lips aren't dark. And honestly, I wasn't looking at her lips as much as I probably should have been. I kind of got distracted. And now what you could do to kind of repair that is you could exaggerate the shadows of everything else on her face so that it kind of balances out, right? So you can make the shadows darker as a whole, compositionally, so that her lips, the shading of her lips makes more sense. And that's what you sometimes have to do, is if you make a mistake shading wise, proportion wise, you can counter that out. Like, you can kind of mask your error, either by correcting it at like adjusting your shading, etc. All kinds of things you can do to kind of make it seem like there was no mistake. And so that's what you can do. And I might be able to kind of get some sort of like correction. I don't know. We will see. I'll just start adding some shading. So right now I'm just kind of adding shading here, and then I think I got a lot of the like landmarks like rendered in, and I just got the landmarks in and where I want them. But now I just kind of have to like act and just add value in areas. This might be more of a value issue or value problem. As I said, when you're an artist, you have to think, you have to kind of become like a mathematician, like a mathematician, a math magician, and you have to problem solve as you're going and going through the process of drawing. And your problems that you have to address are form, placement, shading, structure, all kinds of stuff that you have to kind of address. And you have to think about that. Think as if you're kind of like, a mathematician. So like, my problem is like, where does the cheek, this side of her face, begin and end? There's a strong highlight happening right here, and it makes it confusing. Makes it confusing for me where the side plane of her face, the line that determines the edge of her face, begins and ends. And so you just have to make a mark. And if that mark's right, great. If it's not, then you have to kind of tweak it a little bit. And then you got to tweak it some more if it's not right, even more. Like, you just got to keep making adjustments until you feel that you've captured that spot on her face, etc., etc. There's no right or wrong answer. You just got to keep playing around with it. And just like as before, I realized I made a mistake here. I can't change this. This is done. Like, her hair, her mouth is done. I've messed it up. Now I have two things I could do. I can restart, right? Restart the portrait. I can't do that. But if you were doing a portrait of Queen Elizabeth, you might be able to do it, but I can't personally do that. Or I just accept that I made that error, and I just keep drawing on the drawing and try to make do with what I have. Try to subtly correct some of those problems, and I may or may not be able to fix that issue, but it's not out of the realm of possibly being able to correct. Now, if it's wrong, it's wrong. That's great. It's fine. It's just a drawing. You take it as a learning experience. Like, when I first started this drawing, I was really, really concerned about, am I going to be able to capture a likeness? I was really concerned because it started off really rough. And usually many reasons why that happens is because, well, portraits are not my wheelhouse. Actually, any drawing that I do is usually not my wheelhouse. It's always kind of like a new and challenging thing. So I'm always doing something that's out of my range. And I always feel like, even though I've gotten better through practice and drawing and just repetition, I always feel like everything is almost like out of my range. I always feel like it's something that I'm not familiar with. And as I draw more and more, I get that feeling more and more. I'm never comfortable with my drawing. I'm always feeling a little bit of uneasiness, like it's because I'm always doing a slightly different thing, a slightly different way, pursuing it slightly differently. And so I'm always a little bit on my toes. And I don't know if it's just like a getting older thing, or maybe I don't know. Or maybe it's because I'm doing a live, like maybe doing a live stream puts me on edge. And so it makes me really on my toes all the time. Or if it's because I'm really on my toes. I think if I was not doing a live, I'd be a little bit more comfortable with it because I'd be able to concentrate on the act of the drawing. But since but I don't. So I think if I was not doing a live, I'd be a little bit more comfortable with it because I'd be, as I said, I'd be able to focus on it, and I'm not talking. When you're doing a live, it's like there's a few like I think there's a few live artists that can get away with like just not saying a word. They'll just pop on like some generic copyright-free music, and then they'll like just start drawing, right? And people will just watch, and they'll like not spam, but they'll say their 2 cents in the chat, right? I've seen a few of those where like the artist says absolutely nothing, like they're like doing zero talking, they're like they don't have to engage with their audience, they don't have to even reply or say anything. They're like I'm just gonna draw and you just watch. That's what you're gonna do. You can watch if you want. If you don't want to watch, fine. I'm just gonna keep drawing. And they can do that. The drawings they do are so good that it intrigues the audience so well that they don't have to say anything, right? They just have to draw. And perhaps I could do that. Maybe I could do that. Yeah, you're right. It is a perfectionism thing. It could be if you're referring to like not feeling comfortable when you're drawing or doing any type of like creative work. I'm I'm never like oh man, I'm so this is just like simpatico. This is just like butter, just everything's just flowing like perfectly. This is easy. And if I would say to you, if the thing that you're doing is easy and you're comfortable with it, then you're not trying hard enough. You're not challenging yourself. And a lot of people, they wonder why their drawing or the skill doesn't get better. It's because they're not doing things that they don't want to, that are hard. They're not choosing subject matter that challenges them. Maybe they like to do the same cartoon over and over again and they got really good at it. But the moment they have to like draw a real person or this or that, they're like, I don't want to do that because I'm not good at it. Because I'm scared. I'm like, what do you have to lose? As I said, I don't have any, I didn't want to do this drawing because I like, it's challenging to me. I knew I'd struggle. And almost, as I said, I'm like a broken record, as I said before. Like every drawing I work on, there's some level of struggle. There's always a level of struggle. And sometimes the struggle is, I struggle more. Sometimes there's less of a struggle, but it's never like just a cakewalk for me. There's always some sort of like Yeah, it's never a cakewalk. Let's just put it that way. There's always some sort of friction with regards to the drawing, and that's fine. But yeah, there's always a little bit of friction whenever I'm drawing. Sometimes it's the friction's I can easily overcome it. Sometimes it takes an hour. Sometimes it takes 2 hours. Sometimes it takes 20 hours, to really like break through the problem, the visual conundrum that I am in, and that's just how it is. She's got a crown here, and unfortunately, I don't have enough room to kind of show it, to put it on. Yeah, I don't have enough room. It's going to come off the page. And that is what it is. I only have 4 minutes left, so I really can't do much. I'm just going to keep working on it, and what I get done, I get done. If I don't get it done, that's great. It's fine. It's got a good structure, and I learned a bit, and that's a good thing. Each day, you want to learn. Every day, like, I would listen when I was I had a job that I heard as a manager tell me that every day he tries to learn something new. And I thought to myself, I don't think that's true. I think you're I think you're lying a little bit. I don't think you're doing that. I don't think you're truly trying to learn something new. So like, I feel like whenever you do a drawing, or whenever you do like a creative thing in your life, and you do a new creative thing. So for me, this new creative thing is this. Like, if you do a creative thing, every time you do that creative thing, I feel like you really are kind of learning a new thing each time you do it. So each drawing I do, I believe I am truly learning something new every day. Even though I may not grasp that new thing, I feel like I'm learning something new every day. Either learning something new about myself, learning something new about like drawing, and it might not be like I learned it, as I said, grasped it. Like I might not grasp the concept, but like maybe I just came out a little bit better. I think what I did wrong is I feel like the gap between her eyes are maybe too little wide. My shading is not there yet, but as I said, I'd have to spend a lot more time. I made her mouth way too dark. Yeah, there's a lot happening here that I just don't have time to kind of rectify, and we're just going to have to accept our losses per se, accept the mistakes and just move on with it. Because as I said, I can't contribute enough time today. I want to get 2 hours of drawing in, but I don't want to spend 2 hours. I can't do a 2 hour live stream, but I have some other personal projects that I want to work on. It's supposed to be Queen Elizabeth. I'm not really doing a great job, but I captured some of the likeness. This is supposed to be her crown. I didn't get her crown in there, and because I was mainly trying to focus on getting some of the areas on the structure of her face correct before I moved forward, and I didn't get that. I didn't get it all done because she has a lot of wrinkles, and there's a lot of asymmetry there, and I had to make a lot of adjustments. I don't think I captured the side of her face well, the bottom of her neck. the left side's a little bright, but the right side's very contrasted. And so I was trying to figure out like what level of value and shading I want to pursue with a drawing like this. And yeah, I just overall had a lot of things bogging me down. But I feel like I started getting the eyes. The eyes started getting better. The hairline's probably not there yet. I feel like the hairline might be too tall. I think what happened is I made her too... This is what happens when I have the drawing way too far away from me. Is like I make the face way too long because of distortion. And I just can't fix that now. So that is it. We're at an hour. If anyone has any art requests that they would like to ask to put in the chat, feel free to do that. I'll give everyone a minute or two to put it in art requests that they want to, while I'm just kind of like playing around with the shading just for a minute. So if you have anything that you would like me to draw in future lives, I would just put it in the chat right now, and then I will write that down. Hoop. Okay. Okay, 1 second. We got a few. Let me write them down. I see a few, and then I will put that on my list. Oh my gosh, we got a lot. Endeavor from My Hero Academy. I think it's academia, I think. Okay, we got Endeavor. Hoop from Fortnite. I still haven't played that game, by the way. Player 456 Squid Game. And this is why I never get... And we got Endeavor, Academia. All right, Endeavor. Okay, thank you so much, but I got to get going. I wish I could have finished this, but I think it was... I don't know. I just didn't have enough time, and it was a good first try. If I did draw this one again, I'd have it lower down, and it'd be larger, and I'd have to spend about 5 to 10 hours on it to really figure things out, and I'd draw it in pencil or charcoal. But it was a good sketch, good first try. Anyways, I got to get going. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all, hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow.